anyways, on this video, it's all about doing the fuel system on the LS Nova. On the LS Nova fuel system, we're going to be doing something a little bit different. We're going to run a center section of hardline and 2 sections of softline. I have 6 in my hand. That's going to be the return. We're going to do 8 for the feed. And it's going to be pretty awesome. Plus, flaring this aluminum line from Fregola is very satisfying. So come on in, I'll show you the other supplies, and then we're going to get down to it. Got a slew of Fregola fittings we're going to be using. We got the tube, nut, and sleeve for the hard line. I thought I had more 6 in this, but I should be fine. Here is the number 8. Got plenty of that. Here's a new cutter. Got a new one for this aluminum. It does cut pretty easy. Also got a bender. Full fuel filter I got from someone a while back. There's some nut rivets and other hardware to attach the lines to the frame. And I do want to keep track of the fuel pressure at the rail, so I'm going to put one of these on there. Cool to see this side by side like this. You got 6 on the left, 8 in the middle, 10 on the right. Of course, in the Nova we're doing 6 return, 8 feed. WS6 we did 8 return and 10 feed. We set this up in an older video, but this is the Tanks Inc. Efi Tank. I already put some Fregola quarter NPT to AN fittings on here. Now the crazy thing is the way that the clearances are, you can't run an 8 feed on this. So I am kind of funneling it down, unfortunately, but I think for the power levels this car is going to have, this should be fine. If I was going to make big power, I wouldn't use this tank. You know, definitely get a different top hat. But anyway, this is a quality piece. I'm excited to put it on. I did lose my hardware, so I had to order some new tank hardware to put this in the car. Yeah, don't take your car apart and leave it apart for 3 years. Adapting the stock truck lines to AN lines really isn't that hard. I found these Russell fittings that are going to work really well. And basically all they are, they use a kind of like a tube and nut design, just like what we're going to do on the hard lines. Tank is now ready for AN lines. So my plan here is basically just to strong arm this thing in there and not use a jack and balance it with one hand, and looky there. I have the factory hardware after all. Well, the new nuts that I needed fit, even though I could have got these from Ace Hardware. What an idiot. Oh man. Well, let's get this done. Don't look behind me because that's the only part in the garage that's kind of became a catch-all. It's the only part I don't need to walk around. It would be nice to get this out of the way of the garage. There we go. The filler neck sits in there pretty good. Not too bad. I think what I'm going to do is run the feed down the driver's side and the return down the passenger side. I think it'll lay out a lot cleaner. Options as far as mounting the fuel filter. Some are going to work and some aren't. We can't mount it on the side of the frame just because of how wide the brackets are. And I don't want this to be put on the side profile of the car because I'm a good sucker for a side profile shot and I don't want you to see any of the fuel system. Now I really like it here, but the brackets, they're just way too big. It's not going to work, and that would really be ideal. Now, the brackets that it comes with, a guy could mount it like right about here, which, you know, there's the rear end, so it's kind of going to be, you know, behind the rear end. You could also mount it right here, which isn't bad. I'd probably put it right about here. You know, then you could run your line that way, down and across to the driver's side. That's an option. Now, if I did it right here, I would of course run my feed probably over, down off of that frame, and over right here, and then boom, and then go down on the frame right there. So decisions. We can't mount it right here because that's going to be in the way of exhaust. I really hope this looks okay because I got my GoPro out. It's really tight under here. I honestly like this option right here the best because it's easy to access. And I could run my feed over there, go down, run it across right here. You know, so I'd be away from the rear end like I wanted to be. I wonder if I have a number 890, because the number 890 I'd run a very small, what, maybe like 5 inches. You have it, fuel filter is all mounted. Inlet on that side, gonna make a small line off the pump. Got the hard lines all done, already mounted the feed and flared it. Gonna flare the passenger side. This is the flaring tool I really like. We used it on the WS6 behind me. Gonna use it on the Nova now. And it is really cool because you can kind of see it flaring as it flares in this little peephole. So let's do it. All the fuel lines are ran. I decided to go with a piece of soft line here. I made a small hard line and I just did not like how it turned out. So I decided to do that. So here we go, feed off the pump, off of the 225 pump, goes straight into the filter. It filters it, then it goes around, it dives back. Woo, can't barely see it, it's back there. Dives back, goes down the frame, into a 90. Now we start the hard line on the bottom of the car. Now this was really straight, but I wanted to keep it away from this brake line, so I just kind of went with it, and boom, into a 90, up on the frame. Now we're going up top. Anybody shot of the fuel system. Fuel pressure gauge. Feed comes up through the frame, behind the master cylinder, up to the injector. Send it back, behind the intake, back down around, down the frame, down on the frame, into the hard line, down the side of the car, and boom, off to a 90. We flow up the side of the frame, woo, dive over. There we go, back to the tank, right in there. There you have it, the fuel system on the Nova is all done. I think on the next video we're going to test fire this thing because I don't want to wait to do the cooling system. I want to hear this thing run. Man, this engine hasn't breathed any life in about 7 years, so this is extremely exciting. Man, the next episode is going to be wild. I'm stoked. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.